Well, hello everyone. Okay, so look, I just woke up. We're not about to do another murder thing, so apologies for that ominous background. Uh, hey, Emmy, hey back. Um, yeah, we are here to pick up a wonderful story led by our fantastic Jev, Barrow Grounds, which is a post-apocalyptic fantasy game that you'll have to go back and watch the first three episodes, but we're going to pick that up. Chev, tell us about it.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. So my name is Chev, and this is a game that I titled Burial Grounds. We are currently in the second series of it. So as a brief recap, the world was broken, and the world has slowly recovered. The mages of the Arcan Imperium, the precursors to current civilization, create a lot of dangerous magics and places before their fall. And to this day, the people of the world, the folk of Arden Eld, are haunted by ruins and creatures that pop up now and then randomly from below the ground to menace everyone. The various folk of Arden Eld include the Elven Thrin, the Orcish Throg, the myriad beast folk, your standard animal peoples, and the water-dwelling Zixo, who are also animal people, but they're kind of separate because it's like insects and lobsters and crab people. It's all the non-mammal beast folk. Some of them farm the land and sea, some travel the world as merchants, or explore the secrets of the past, or just engage in city building and life. All of them are threatened by relics of the Imperium, and all are protected by the Icons, which is these people. Icons are powerful adventurers blessed with extraordinary powers who delve into newly revealed dungeons and fight the threats within. Currently, our heroes are exploring a large, mysterious ruin that erupted from the ground not too long ago. The most obvious feature is a square wall, mile on a side, formed from enormous carven heads of various types of folk. All of the carven heads have unpleasant expressions of pain or fear, and all of them are looking in towards the center of the square, where there is an enormous featureless cube that is about 200 feet tall. The whole square itself is, I think I said, a mile on the side. So it's a big place. Around the ruins, three major factions and countless smaller bands have taken up residence. They're all varied in motivation, but they all want to have control. To the east are the Bookers, who are chroniclers. Proper name Suppression Team 4. It's still unusual to see a band of chroniclers like this outside their towers, but their role is unique: to prevent anyone from interfering with the ruins. Their leader wants to undermine the other factions from within and has asked the party to find agents in the other factions. To the north are Stonebreakers, a band of churners. Churners are typically nomadic explorers, but this group is behaving more like city builders and explorers. Their leader, Koya, wants to settle down and use the ruins as a base of power to build a city on. Her chief medic, an old friend, thinks that this is folly and has agreed to be a traitor on behalf of the party and a liaison to the Overgrowth and the Bookers. The Overgrowth are a band of merchants, itinerant merchants who have camped to the west. The party has not visited them, just seen their busy market from afar. Previously, our heroes explored the large head on the southern edge of the square, where they discovered monster-infested barracks and a curious stone model showing an entire ruin in miniature. The ruins extend far underground, and the stone model had some kind of magical connection to the entire facility. Through an ingenious application of sympathetic geomancy, the party initiated a release of energy from far below through the building they were currently exploring. After leaving, the party found themselves in factional intrigue. The Bookers recruited them as spies, and the party recruited the Breakers' chief doctor as a traitor. The Breakers have agreed to stay away from the ruins. The party notified the Bookers in a coded message that this truce is only temporary, and then the party burned down a tower that the Breakers were building against the Northern Watchhead. For those of you who are familiar with the icon system, because of the format we're playing in, we're sticking to narrative combat rather than tactical. Players are free to lean on their tactical class and abilities for inspiration in combat, but we're not breaking out a grid or any miniatures for this. And then for those of you who are unfamiliar with the icon system, it is a D6 Forged in the Dark style game where a player attempts an action with an unknown outcome, and they roll several D6s and take the highest result to determine whether they failed, partially succeeded, or fully succeeded. And my role here is to tell the story and place obstacles in the player's way and to determine how effective their actions are at overcoming my interference. So let's go around and meet some of our brave cast of adventurers. Let's start with Zero, by the way.
Okay. Well, so I am playing Kenzo, who is a Thrin. He is, if I remember correctly, extremely famous, beloved by all, known for his many successful adventures and delves. His friends often look askance and laugh and giggle when he says that, and then it turns out that people really have heard of him, so check yourselves. It's all good. I mean, they maybe have heard of him because he tells these stories about himself everywhere he goes, but I mean, we'll resolve that later. And he is a Harlequin. So his powers are kind of a little bit lightning-y, but also a lot about like not being there, and like zipping around and stuff like that. And he can now tell if anyone's lying as long as he can see their face. He can't see his own face, so he doesn't know. Yeah, he's a Turner because Turners are best. Except for the current Turners, they seem really weird because they want to settle down, which is a strange thing for Turners to do. That's very sus. Hey, Twy.
Hello, I am Twi'lek, and I am playing Morven. And Morven is also a Turner. His parents and family were in the business of supplying victuals to adventurers around adventure sites. And eventually, Morven's decided to grow up and become an adventurer himself, so now he's joined their slots. He is a mender, which means that he's a support class. He helps people out, such as Sin's character, Leos.
Oh, that was a nice segue. Hi, I'm Sin, or Sinful__potato, and I'm playing Leos, or Lee, who is a Throg, and they're an islander, and they're supposed to have a Newfie accent, but I haven't been practicing, so I'm a little bit rusty, which means it'll probably be a mix of 5 different accents at 5 different points in time. So that's cool. Leos is the elder, so oldest of the party, being 200 years old. Yeah. Has a fire staff named Atlas. Super cool, super special old weapon that like stopped being fire for a bit and then recently began getting back into fire. This was discovered when Lee almost burned down a library, but didn't. Now everything's fine and good. Misha.
There will be time yet to burn down the library.
There could be time, but I'm sure my character would disagree with that. I'm Misha. I'm playing Chia. She's a Thrin with dark skin. She carries around what I think we've been calling the swizzle stick, which is kind of like a unique weapon to her chronicler heritage where she's from, which is pretty far away from this area. But she's been with this team for a bit, but currently has been I guess, in correspondence with the other chroniclers, you know, to make sure that everything stays safe, that we aren't really changing the past. Because obviously, chroniclers are the best. We know the most things. So there's that. The class that she is the outsider, since many chroniclers aren't from around here, and for her combat abilities are more based on like geomancing. So there's a lot of stuff based in stonework and crystals and other fun things like that. She can talk to Earth, so that's cool. Like rocks and stuff. That's a new trick she learned. All right, I think that's good for me.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. So, when we left off last session, the party had acquired some intelligence assets. They had picked up a, so the people had agreed to be your spies, your agents, your messengers to other factions. So, where I think we'll pick up is a day or two has gone by. And so I have a couple questions for the group. One of them is, would you be staying in the Stonebreakers camp, or would you have left their camp to go, keep camp outside, more like secluded in the wilderness?
Upon entry to this camp, weren't we almost smooshed by someone excavating?
Yeah, so one of the signature kind of feats of the Stonebreakers, the reason why they are called the Stonebreakers, is because they use magical artifacts to fling themselves high into the air and then break and then land with great force and much explosion and excitement on the ground and breaking it. They are literally breaking the stone using the weight of their own bodies and magic launch pads. You were almost smushed by someone who had been practicing on a crudely created and not very well functioning launch pad, but you weren't. You survived.
So either we have left the camp to go very far away to avoid getting smushed, or we're staying in the camp in the no smush zone, I'd say. It probably depends if we needed to talk to them after a couple days quickly or not, because otherwise it's probably easier for us just to head out.
Yeah.
They're loud. Hard to concentrate and read, you see.
I'm also wondering what everyone sees as the current objective. So everyone has, the party itself has several objectives, but I'm curious what's forefront of everyone's minds.
We definitely have to try to turn the whole thing on. So there's that. And then figuring out what the bookers really want, because we don't trust them. Sorry, Mish. But we don't. So we got to go talk to the merchants, because we were on a secret mission to go do that, but we don't trust the people who gave us the secret mission. We also don't trust these turners because they're weird. So, but we've accomplished, half of that mission. So we might as well go and talk to other people too. And maybe they have information or are less weird and can be more straightforward in our conversation with them. And they can give us access to one of their statues that we can go in and turn the whole thing on.
Well, in Chia's mind, their mission is definitely not to turn this whole thing on because it's probably dangerous. They should find out more about it, though. And obviously, the boogers can be trusted implicitly. So the secret message that Chia received is probably on the top of her mind. She'd only partially translated it to something that said, like, warning, custom, patience, or something like that. So she's probably been mulling that over in her head for, while they're traveling from time to time.
Okay.
It wasn't that message like, warning, you have to be like super sly and stuff in dealing with the churners, and we just walked in and I'm like, nope.
Maybe. I think it might have something more to do with chronological like chronicler customs in general is probably where Gia's thinking.
Oh, you mean hogging everything for themselves and trying to keep the boot on the neck of the common man and badger person?
History, you know, if you don't study it, you are doomed to repeat it. So why is this here and like this, you know? So
yeah, sure.
I know Lee was thinking about the different commanders for reasons.
Oh yeah, Leo's tried to make a move on Koya.
Oh yeah, that went real well.
Super well.
If you keep trying, you might get there.
Very smooth.
Well, with Leos and Koya getting along so well, I think that Morven's attitude is that the Bookers are clearly the most dangerous faction of the ones we've met so far. So, unless we wanted to meet the third party, we ought to delve or deal with the Bookers.
This is why we should not be staying in the camp so we can actually have these conversations. So wait, who are we going to betray? I forgot.
Yeah. Well, I think it sounded like from what Chia was speculating that it would be better to not be in the middle of camp, just because you all did have the 2 life-threatening encounters in short order at the.
Yeah, and didn't we like burn down their tower? The last thing you were talking about. Yeah.
If you use we very broadly.
Yeah, the broadest sense of we here.
Yeah.
So it might be best if we aren't seen day to day to remind them that we did burn down their tower.
Yeah, you're a little bit persona non grata.
Oh, we're fine. People love us.
We should stay outside the camp with the fox thieves.
And that creepy cat.
Yeah, Tally.
Okay. And we do have to go see the merchants, right? Just to complete our understanding. I totally get where you're coming from, Morvins, because, I mean, the Bookers are awful. But the way that we'll get more information about them and leverage over them is to complete their little quest.
That seems reasonable.
Okay. So, morning dawns. It is a fine morning. There's a little bit of a sprinkling of dew on the ground. The stone heads are all, continue to loom ominously. It's you can almost hear like some kind of like ominous drum beat or like a far off minor key like flute tune or something. It's all like just kind of, that's just how oppressive the atmosphere is as you're looking towards the stone heads. Like the wind whistling through. You can see through gaps in the heads the really wavy land that is in between you and the central cube. You can see movement, particularly from the Churner camp. And also from various, you can see people starting up some cook fires here and there. So you can smell some like vegetables and meat that's cooking on the wind from, other adventuring parties, not like factions, just kind of, like, oh, there's a half a mile over that way. There's a couple tents, and then, 1,000 feet over in the other way, there's, somebody who's just kind of sleeping rough, stuff like that. So how does the morning get started for y'all?
I mean, Morvins makes breakfast because Morvins' breakfasts are the best.
Okay.
This too is apples.
Yes.
With a little blackberries thrown in, just for the flavour.
Yes.
We've got to be consistent so that people know what to expect. It feels... With breakfast, the most important meal of the day, it's got to be homely. It's got to be... You don't want to get homesick by eating some weird foreign food.
You have put way more thought into this than is required, Morvins, but I appreciate that about you.
Tia's like hiding the pack of spice from her home country that she was about to put on the apples.
Do I smell nutmeg?
No, it couldn't be. Breakfast is nice and simple and completely normal.
Well, so are we going to go see the merchants and triple cross them, or like, you know, find out what weird is going on with them, bring them over to our side, find someone who can also be a spy for the Bookers, and then go back and tell the Bookers, we've succeeded. Now tell us all your secrets. Give us the details of your nefarious plan in a 3-minute monologue. Or are we just gonna like go back in and see what's going on? Try to find out more information ourselves through direct experience and research. Or is there a third option I haven't thought of?
Walking straight in, they are merchants, wouldn't necessarily be the worst option. Surely. They want to trade. We could have a perfectly innocuous excuse to go visit them. Perhaps they have books there. Gia loves books.
I do love books.
I have many experience with the merchants over me times in the old days.
Really?
Yes.
Are you a merchant?
Who's got? No, eyes failed misbelieve when me father tried to show me how to do them. Buy high, sell low, or is it buy low, sell high?
Oh. So not because you kept trying to befriend all of your customers. Okay. Well, that's good, I suppose. And did we explain to, like, I don't remember. I think we kind of told everyone everything. Did we explain that we were going to go see the merchants to the churners?
I don't think you told them what you were going to do. You asked the doctor to be a liaison between the churners and the legio, the merchants. But you didn't say anything about like whether you're going to go there on your own or if you were leaving that all up to them.
Oh, I thought we asked the doctor to be a contact for the Bookers.
Oh, then I mean that's entirely possible. I had written down that it was for both, but I
no, it was
just
for both. No, you're right. Yeah, I just knew that it was like, hey, your boss is real weird. You should like try to find a way of cooperating. Okay, that
she was
feels less like a
concerned.
betrayal.
Yeah, she was particularly concerned about how Koya wanted to, as has been noted, turn the churners into guilders. Was not a fan of that plan.
Yeah. I mean, you can't tie us down. We're free spirits. As we have our lovely homey breakfast. Right.
Like Kenzo is just like ranting for no real reason at everyone else, like about like, no, it's all about moving. It's about working with the land and following the seasons. You can't just stick in one place.
It's like everything has, yeah. Anyway, cool. Well, if we're not going to go dig for secrets ourselves, I suppose we should go see the merchants.
Okay.
Sounds good.
The it doesn't take too long to get over there. The territory is, it's a little bit hilly, but it's not like it's, impossible to traverse. You're as you skirt around the heads, as you're walking along the line of heads on the square of the ruins, it's you kind of lose track of how far you are. You can only really tell where you are by how long you think you've been walking. Each head is unique, but they all kind of blend together after a while. But after maybe like half an hour, 45 minutes, you end up reaching the far corner, and you round it, and you start to see that the overgrowth camp is within sight. From this far away, it looks mostly just like a bunch of wagons and stalls and tents and whatnot that has been set up about half a mile away. You can see it. You can see that it's busy. You can see there's lots of people are coming and going. But in terms of like any broader details, it's a little hard to say. As you are all walking forwards, I guess I have a question. Did y'all set a watch last night?
Of course.
Okay.
We aren't new.
Who was on watch?
I think we all would have taken turns.
Okay. How about everybody think about how you would have been keeping watch last night. What would you or how about I'm gonna roll a d4 and just see, who do I think? 3. Leos, what were you doing while you were on watch last night?
I was cleaning Atlas to make sure he'd be spick and span and free of all them grim and ketchup that dawned him the previous day.
Okay. So when were you how, like, when you're thinking about like, oh, how were you keeping watch? Like, was it just like you're sitting there, you're polishing the axe and looking around, and is that kind of the sense of it?
Yes.
Okay. I'm curious about how well of a watch you kept. Can you go ahead and give me a fortune roll, which is just a 2d6?
Okay. Two.
Okay. So as you're walking along, you're rounding the after what seemed like forever, you finally got to the end of the row of heads, and you see the last one, and you're turning, and you can start to see the overgrowth camp that's in the distance. Morvins, it's been bugging you for a little bit. And then finally, like, almost as though having a change in scenery just jarred something loose from your mind, you realize that there's a pouch that is on your person, in your bag, that should have something in it, but there's something missing from it. Now, I'm curious, what's missing?
I had this piece of architect. It's just a hot plate, right? Just to keep things warm and bubbling. But it was this was what my parents used to prepare food for their customers, and they entrusted it to me when I left. It's life on the road. You don't really have much chance to collect memorabilia it's the only thing I have from them, and it's precious to me.
Okay. Yeah, that hot plate is gone. Like, you didn't even think about it because you still had a cooking fire that you were using. The hot plate, it takes a little bit of dust to run, and it's a little bit of a finicky to get it set up right. And so it was, last night you figured, like, I'm just going to use the cook fire to cook, or this morning when you were making breakfast. And it's only now that you're realizing that your hot plate is gone.
Do I remember using it in one of the other camps, either the Bookers or
Yeah, go ahead and give me that's probably a history. Or not a history. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. That's a test of knowledge. So if you want, you can try to recall it with a specific action in mind, or you could just do regular old 2d6 whatchamacallit, fortune roll.
Study, perhaps.
Okay.
Okay. Two d6, dropping one die. I have 2.
Okay. Yeah, you're not sure when the last time you used it is. You think you used it the very first day, when like you had like it had the very first morning when one of the tents accidentally caught fire. You had been using it to cook that meal, but ever since then you're not sure where you've used it. Like, you might have used it while you were camped near the Bookers. You might have used it the following morning, like the previous day, but you're not sure if you did.
The thing is, it is Archantech, and those Bookers are big into history. Kenzo.
Yeah.
Kenzo.
Yeah.
I've lost something. My hot plate.
Oh yeah.
I think we're going to have to retrace our steps. I'm a bit worried that the Bookers took it.
Or that cat.
Right. The cat. Leos is friends with the cat, right? Friend,
I mean, Leos nearly squeezed it to death. Isn't that right?
You do squish cats in order to make friends.
Oh, okay. You think Leos is in on it?
He's fairly solid.
Okay.
I respect my elders. I'm not going to accuse Leos of anything, but we should ask him whether he's seen the cat recently.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Hi.
Have you seen that cat recently? We think it may have stolen Morven's hot plate. Or maybe the Bookers did it. Although it's not a book, so I don't know that they would be interested. But it is... Well, who knows?
I just do not recall if I've seen the cat. If not, wasn't the last time we saw him at Sapphire, or when I grabbed him by his tail?
Yes. But we've heard about them a couple of times. Because I know that they were harassing everyone, really.
You kind of can't go anywhere without seeing or hearing evidence that he's been around.
Maybe he's a magical cat. Maybe there's more than one of them. Maybe he's a magical cat that can duplicate himself. That's why it seems like there's more than one of him. Maybe he's an ancient guardian of the ruin who is appearing to us in a unobtrusive disguise as a way of gathering more information and stealing our stuff.
Maybe he's a fool and a thief. Says, I haven't really been paying attention. I just heard this stuff about Tally, and then I keep walking wherever we're going.
Those are not mutually exclusive arguments. Anyway. So we should add to the list tracking down the cat and getting your hot plate back.
When we next see the cat, would you mind inviting it to come delving with us? I want a moment. The two of you are friends, or friends well enough, so I think it would be best coming from you. I would like to keep the cat close until I know that it hasn't taken my hot plate. Is that something you could do for me?
I will do so. You keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Thank you. It means a lot to me.
So are you all heading onwards towards the camp, or are you backtracking?
It's your call, Morvins. It's your hot plate.
I don't know where I lost it. Backtracking seems a bit... If it was the cat that took it, he could be long gone by now. And when we come back, we go back along this route, and if I have dropped it, then it will still be there.
Okay. Not much more time goes by. There's kind of a, cameras in close on everybody. Everybody's looking tensely at each other as they're all huddled around having this conversation. People are looking out at the horizon almost a little bit suspiciously or warily. But, time goes by. The camera kind of comes back and we see that they all eventually nod at each other and continue on towards the overgrowth camp. The trip is mostly uneventful. There's you can see as you get closer, there's more and more footsteps on the ground, or footprints on the ground. You can see boots and shoes and large footprints for those who prefer not to, and some paw prints and hoof prints and claw marks from some of the Zixos. And here and there you can even see some broken spots. It looks like you can see where the breakers came in from the opposite direction towards where they set up camp. As you get closer to the camp, you can kind of see a little bit better what their camp looks like. It's honestly, it's less of a camp and more of a market. The wagons and carriages are set out in this grand circle. You can see that on the outside there's crowds of other folk that are milling around. So kind of like one large circle that has stalls facing outwards, and everyone is just kind of going around the circle looking at all the stalls. And through gaps between the tents, you can see that there's a lot of storage areas and crates and wagons and whatnot piled up. It looks like the kind of inner area of the camp is more of the like private storage area for the merchants. But on the outside, you can see, there's makeshift bars and canteens here and there. You can hear raucous laughter as you get closer. So, people are telling stories, having competitions and feats of strength. There's a couple people who are passed out on the ground. There's a throg that is, lifting up two small frog folks in a feat of strength. And you can almost see through some of the gaps that it looks like. So as once you're, a couple hundred feet away, you can see that there's vines that are everywhere. That the all along the outer circle of tents is almost like a layer of shimmering vines that have grown over and around all of the stalls. They don't, impede anyone. They don't block anyone from getting access to, sell something. But you never see anyone passing through the vines. It's almost like it's a wall of vegetation that is, not obviously like a complete barrier, but nobody's going through it. So once you've gotten a look at what the camp looks like, what's y'all's plan?
Is that plant stuff magic? This is like somebody like grew this magically quickly, or
so
is this something that I could? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, as you're standing there, you actually see that there's a particularly rowdy patron of one of the kind of bar stalls that are set up. You can see that he's got this, it's a throg. He's enormous, like 6.5 feet tall. He's holding this. He's got this like long, luxurious hair that's tied back in this like really intricately braided ponytail. He has this enormous mug that's about like a foot or more taller, that he's like, he's, you know, just finishing down, and he just kind of tosses it over his shoulder, and then he looks around and he shouts something, and you're too far away to hear exactly what he says, but he's clearly, you know, made up his mind about something. He starts walking towards the side of the bar stall as though he's going to grow back the to go through the vine wall, and you can see that you know, as you're, you know, still walking forward and watching some of this stuff happen, the vines and the leaves, they sort of shimmer with these rainbow hues, and then all of a sudden it's like you blink and there's more of them. They almost like grew in an instant, in a split second, in front of the path of him as he's walking. And you know, he doesn't turn away, he keeps walking forward, and then he just walks directly into the vines, and it's like he walked into an iron wall. He just is rebuffed, and you can see that he's like trying to put his hand through, and every time he puts a hand through, more of it grows in the way of him. And you watch this go on for a couple minutes. He's getting increasingly frustrated, then eventually he just kind of kicks it and winces and then walks away. And as soon as he walks away, you can see that there are some flashes of scissors that are coming through. You can see someone from the other side is starting to trim away the brand new growth.
Awesome. She is like, pulls out a notebook, starts taking notes about like plant magic, walls. How does it work? Is it hard? Well, I assume following the rest of them while like writing in a notebook. This is why the rest of you are really here, so I don't run into anything.
Yeah, you had like whole classes on how to write in shorthand while you're walking. It's a vital skill for a chronicler.
Vital.
Well, should we find the leader? Just stride in and tell them to take us to our leader. That worked last time.
If you want, Kenzo, we can do that. But
yeah, sounds great.
And that Throg seemed dissatisfied, so he might be a good prospect for a turncoat.
Maybe. Just try and keep an eye out for thieves. These crowded markets.
Yes. And we have to ask about the cat.
Yes. The cat.
Oh, would the cat have come here to try to sell the hot plate? Because it can't, like, use it.
That's a good thought. If you, as we walk through the stalls, if everybody keeps an eye out, Chia, would you
that
mind
can be
keeping
our
an eye out?
cover story.
Oh, keep an eye out for what?
The hot plate that the cat stole, maybe.
The cat. Oh, that's why you're talking about Tally. Okay. Stole a hot plate. Yeah, okay, I'll keep a lookout for it. Wait, you don't have the hot plate? How are you going to make the dish and then you keep it warm? And it simmers for, oh no, this is disastrous.
It was a particularly good mulled cider, wasn't it?
Sounds right.
You mustn't forget about the feline fiend.
It's fortuitous we have you here.
Yes, Leah's had some extra vitamins this morning. Anyway, so our cover story is that we're looking for the hot plate, which is a good cover story because it's also a true cover story. We can leverage that cover story to get in with the people, find information, and cause chaos, I suppose.
It's like chaos.
Yes, that is something that we are very aware of. Don't burn anything down, or they'll probably charge us for damages, and we don't have the money or the dust to cover it.
Aye.
All right. Let's find, let's start with, psychology. If I were a creepy cat ragamuffin, where would I go? Well, I wouldn't go to the nicest store. I would probably go to the like, is there a storefront that looks like a pawn shop?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, so as you're walking around, you're taking in the sights. You can see that there's um there's a there's some food shops, there's some knickknacks and trinkets. You can see that someone has set up a stall where they've got these like chests full of these strange glass coins that are that are just filling up the chests. You can see that there are some general like adventuring chat, like like here's some lamps and some dust mechanical devices, some arcane devices that are looking around. And there you don't see anything that looks obviously like a pawn shop or anything like that, but you can definitely see let me see. There are one or two places that just y'all's general knowledge, how these things work. You can tell that like if you were going to look for a fence, it wouldn't be right out in the open, but it would probably be at one of the general item stalls of like where people are pulling stuff out of the ruins, because that's what they would just claim it is. It's a thing I pulled out of a ruin. Here I would sell it. And so there are definitely some of those. Some of them, they're all kind of filled with shadier looking people, that they're all like the people who are at those style of shops. They're looking around a little bit more than everyone else. They're looking over their shoulder a little bit. They're talking quicker and quieter. As you're walking around, there's one you can see that there is there's a rabbit folk, a Legio running one of them. Let me get his description. You can see he's got like a kind of drab looking tent. It's got a couple tables, like one or two of them, and he's standing behind them. You can see that he's got this like tight fitting, like vested one piece that's got covered in pockets. Think of like a fishing or a hunting vest. Some of them are empty and some of them are bulging, and he's got on his head, like in between his ears, is a set of magical eyepieces that are on a strap that he can pull on. He's, as you walk around the corner, you can see that he's got like one of the lenses is, it's on a delicate looking metal arm that is, put the lens down in front of his eye, and he's looking at a couple items that he had picked up from the table. And this shop in particular is not, there's no customers in it right now. Just one of the only kind of pawn shop looky places that has not had at least, one or two other people in it.
Well, I suppose we go in and say hello.
Okay. Who's going to go in first and take the lead?
Well, who of us is super charming?
Why, thank you. I'm joking. Please go.
I think Morvins, let's have some small talk about cooking as we enter.
Very well.
Those berries that you added were really quite delightful. I thought they were out of season. That your skill, being able to draw out the sweetness of even unripe berries is almost magical, Morvins. Oh, hello, my friend.
Hello, everyone. Oh, the berries. Yeah, have you tried? Oh, there's a hill over there. They've got great purple berries. It makes, you put them in wine, you put them in cider. It's great. It's great.
It's
now
wonderful.
let me tell you. If you're looking for some food, go three stalls down. It's got great food. You can't beat them. And if you're collecting berries, I'm sure I know some people who would love to buy them off of you. Now take a look at what I've got here. You looking cook it? Look, I've got some pots. I've got some pans. I've got some cups. what can I get you? What can I get you? What are y'all looking for? No, I mean, we just got here. So we haven't pulled up any of the best stuff out of this room, but let me know. Just come back in like a day or two. We're gonna have such good stuff to sell you, and just it's gonna be great. And he's going on, like, he never stops. Like, you can tell he's the kind of person, just, if you let him go on, he will never stop talking.
Well,
what's happening in a day or two?
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, it just nothing particular is happening in a day or two. We just you listen, like, just between you and me, I have a little bit of I know the people who are going exploring. I'm I know some of them, but I'm an old hand at going around these relics, these ruins, and it only takes a day or two to pull out the really good stuff. You go in, you find a chest, you find the treasure, and then here is here's a chest full of a wonderful device that turns dirt into sugar or something. Like, it's you find it, and then you walk out, and then everyone that comes after you, you already found the good stuff. There's no more good stuff to find. They're just finding jewels and gems, and those are a dime a dozen.
Oh, so you're an adventurer.
Oh, I was. No, these days I just, I just travel with everyone else here, going around. I can tell you lots of stories, and I've heard a lot more. A guy down there, a couple stalls down, he's got a tavern. The ale in there will knock your socks off. You get some people talking. The stories they'll tell you never stop.
Well, as a fellow adventurer, I thought I picked that up about you. That's what attracted us to your stall. We are on a bit of a quest.
Quest?
Yes.
You and everyone else here?
Oh no, we've already been in the ruins.
Oh
yeah. I mean, we did that first. No, we're on a bit of a more specialized quest. Actually, several of them. Some of them are very, very hush hush. But one of them is we must retrieve a very particular object that was absconded from my friend here, who is absolutely the best cook within leagues. There's a foul miscreant about. A cat, a ragamuffin. I wouldn't be surprised if you haven't made his acquaintance.
Mm-hmm.
And he made off with a very particular item, which is not of any particular use to anyone but our wonderful chef here.
I see. Okay, so what I want you to do is give me a charm roll. You can tell that you haven't said anything outlandish, and everything you've said is strictly true. So it's not if you succeed, it's going to be pretty convincing. But you can tell that he is looking at you with a little bit of like a normal, healthy amount of skepticism.
He runs a pawn shop with lots of stolen stuff. I figured he might be. So remind me, it's 2 + 1 for every tick.
No, it's just 1 for every tick.
1 for every tick. Okay.
So for you, it would be 3d6.
Got it. Cool. 6, a 5, and a 2.
Ooh, full success. Yeah. He just kind of looks at you like, oh yeah, that makes sense. No, you said an item was stolen from your friend here. So sir, like, I mean, I'm very sorry to hear that, but like, do you know who stole it?
That cat. Tally, the ragamuffin.
You can see that there's like a flash of recognition. Oh. Yeah, believe me. Yeah, we know about Tally. Okay. Yeah. Here, come follow me. And he leads you. He starts walking out of the shop. As you all follow, you can see that as he leaves, like, more of those vines just like within the span of an instant start growing down over the opening of the shop, and he is going out turning around, and he is heading back between the stalls. And as he gets closer, you can tell that there's a little bit of a glow that the leaves have at first, and then as he gets closer, there's some discordant chimes, and then he stops before them and mutters something under his breath, and then the vines themselves, they start parting and retreating, and he walks through. And he leads you all through, and you can see that behind all of the stalls is a bustle of activity. You have people that are carrying boxes and crates back and forth between some of the stalls. Clearly, this is all one large, shared operation. It's not a bunch of different stores. It's everybody's sharing inventory. And he leads you a little bit further into the circle to a very secure-looking tent. It's all of the edges are very, very sharply battened down, and there's not any gaps or anything, and there's a couple Zixos that are standing guard outside, and he waves them aside as he proceeds straight past them into the tent. And as you all enter, it's dark for a second, and then as you're walking in, you can see that he starts lighting a brazier that's standing in the middle, and it's by the flickering of the light, you can see all around you some pretty expensive looking, like some valuable artifacts. You can see that there's some mystical lanterns, some shields that are glowing with energy. You can see a whole rack of swords that are all of myriad shapes and sizes and styles. He goes over to one particular table. Over here is well, we haven't sorted these yet. This is the stuff that people have brought in that looks particularly valuable. So let me know if anything here looks familiar to you.
We investigate the pile.
Yeah, let's look around.
Yeah. So for those of you who wanted to look at the pile of the new inventory, it takes a little bit. There's a lot of stuff here, but Morven's, what you see immediately is, because you're keyed into it, you're looking for it, is your hot plate, and it doesn't take long at all. You see it immediately. It's kind of half buried in the pile, but you can see a very familiar looking chipped corner of the hot plate kind of sticking out from underneath some ornate looking hat that's covered in spikes.
That's it. That's my hot plate.
Oh, this? Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay. And he's looking at the rabbit is looking at a tag that's attached to it. Yep. Yeah, okay, this was brought in by some kind of catfolk this morning. And let me see, what do we got? Our artisans put this at 2 units of dust.
Yeah.
Wait, we have to buy back the stolen goods?
Oh yeah, I mean, you didn't think I was just gonna? I mean, if we just gave away our inventory, then anyone could come by saying that our stuff was stolen. No, I mean, listen, I trust you all that this was stolen from you, but I'm running a business here. I can't just let this stuff go for free.
Chia tries really hard not to roll her eyes and mutter something about turners under her breath, but I think all the
These aren't turners.
Aren't they?
No, they're merchants. They're Legio.
Yeah, either way, rolling my eyes.
Your privilege is showing, Chia.
My privilege and my strict monastery society doesn't have this problem. We don't need the mumbles. I'm leaving this. Chia's kind of like, you guys can handle it if we're bartering also.
Well,
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, I could. Yeah,
As a
we
fellow
can't just give away our stuff.
As a fellow former adventurer, you know that we don't. We aren't rolling in dust. I'm sure you
I
can.
know, but 3
I'm sure
dust is nothing to give up.
you said 2 just a second ago.
Oh yeah, that was the price before. Now it's 3.
The price goes up.
Just 3 simple units of dust.
I think you'll find that has my name tag on it. Nobody will ever buy stolen goods from you.
Many people buy stolen goods from us. Now, come here for a second.
I lean in.
Let's come over here for a second. And he walks away from the table, and he's talking low. He's trying to, he's very obviously trying to lead you over towards the corner of the room. Now this is listen, I completely understand what you're thinking right now, what you're feeling right now. I'm not asking you to like it. I'm just asking you to understand. Now I know that you might not have the dust to make our prices, and I know that sometimes dust is not, everyone's currency. So if you're willing to do me a favor, then maybe I could let this go the other way, or let this go and just look the other way, and then oh no, somebody walked out of the door with one of our pieces of treasure. Like shucks, we'll have to look into that next month or something like that. Like we have a very long pile of incident reports. That is if you were willing to help me.
That depends on what you need.
All I need to do is give a book to someone.
Who?
Now, it may have come to my knowledge that you all may have met with our bookworm friends on the other side of the ruins.
Bookworm friends.
Now, I happen to know that they have a particularly fancy library, and I just want to make a contribution to their collection. I'm just going to give you a book. All you have to do, put it on a shelf. All you have to do, just take the book I give you and put it on a shelf. You walk out of here with that hot plate, and that's it.
Okay, I'm willing to do this.
Okay. He reaches into one of his. He unbuttons one of the pockets on his vest, and he reaches in and he pulls out. It's a slim volume. It's hand bound with a simple thread binding, and not more than a couple dozen pages thick. You can as he hands it over to you. Don't open it.
Of course not. I am a man of honor.
It's maybe the size of completely coincidentally about the size of a A5 notebook kind of a deal. And he passes it to you. Believe we have a deal.
Indeed. I walk straight over to the hot plate and take it openly.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't stop you.
Shall we be off then?
Yep. He claps his hands and looks around at all of you. Now, everyone, isn't business nice? And does anyone else have anything they would like to purchase? Anything you're all looking for? We do have many wonderful items here.
Well, actually, since we are here.
Okay.
Is there anything that looks particularly fun, magical?
What kind of a magical item are you looking for?
Do you have anything similar? Like, what's making all of this cool grass barrier? Is that a spell? Is there something that could maybe be good like as an alarm for a camp in case someone comes by and takes something. That might be something that would be nice to buy.
Oh yeah, our Walzu. I mean, if you want, we can listen. We have a full-time staff maintaining our Walzu. I can definitely sell you a clipping of it, but just know that if you know, even like a single day of not trimming it and keeping it tamed is gonna be you're gonna have a really bad time. But you know, if you want to purchase a clipping of it, then I mean, I could certainly we could certainly do that. It's not like we're drowning in the stuff.
Well, maybe your magical
Hold
abilities.
on, when he says that, does it sound like they're actually drowning in this stuff when he says that?
You can hear like out of the corner of your eye, like you can see that there are. He wasn't kidding when he said they have people that are full-time job taming this stuff. Like you can see out the front of the front flap of the tent that there are like, you know, basically almost every stall has someone behind it that is with a pair of shears, and every couple minutes they are going and clipping off a branch.
Well, how much would a clipping go for?
Oh, I think probably one dust. I mean, honestly, you know, I'm tempted to just give it to you because, you know, this stuff is honestly more of a curse than a blessing. But it's very useful for what we need it for. You know, and that of course would come with the instructions for setting up and telling it, you know, this is the place you have to protect and all that. But I think one dust.
Well, that sounds reasonable. I love it's very fascinating. I'm sure this won't be a bad idea. I guess if it is, I can sell to somebody else. I mean, a different person. So I'll just pull out my dust storage, of which there is definitely the amount that I'm sure he can see that would have been enough to cover the thing.
God, yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. You all have been on like
dust.
at least 3 expeditions. I think you get like 1 dust per person minimum out of that.
Yeah,
So, like,
I have 6. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think I had like 7, 8. So unless we spent some before, I don't think we've really spent it
no,
though.
we haven't.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Which you definitely could do.
I will buy this clipping and instruction manual.
Yeah. He scribbles a note down and then passes it to you. Show this to any of the clippers, and he grabs into another pocket. Yeah, here, and he pulls out a small pamphlet. Here's how you manage this stuff, and good luck to you. Just show that pamphlet to any of the people with the clippers out there, and they'll give you a cutting right away.
Perfect, thank you, says Chia, delighted, not realizing how much plant care work is.
It's gonna be a real problem. That's fine.
He, as you all are, you know, making to leave, he taps Leos on the shoulder. Excuse me. I couldn't help notice. Is that Atlas? I haven't seen or heard notice of that particular weapon for a long time, and then someone just comes carrying it into my shop. Is that truly Atlas?
No, he'd be just a wee little fake.
Oh, it's just a replica. Okay. Give me a charm roll, Leos. Which I think for you is going to be 2d6, drop the highest, or just take the lowest. Oh wait, no, you have 1 in charm. Never mind.
So is that just 2d6?
It's just 1d6.
It's a 3.
Okay. He doesn't look very convinced when you say that it's just a replica. He kind of like looks at you like shrewdly and okay. And he's looking back and forth between you and the weapon. Okay. Well, I wish you all good well on your adventure.
Oh, you weren't able to tell that it was a replica.
Oh, I mean, you know, it's usually who bothers to make a replica of a you know, a legendary weapon? You know, it's not like, I mean, some of them, the most famous ones, obviously people make replicas of all the time, but you know, something like this, you know, it's a little bit, if you're in the right circles, you know about that weapon, but you know, it's not like you ask any random folk off the street if they know of it. They'll probably not have heard of it. So it would be like you know, like a middle tier painting, you know, not the you know, not the most famous one, but maybe from from a famous painter's student days. Why would you make a replica of that? You wouldn't.
Yeah. Is he lying? Or being deceitful
he
anyway?
is 1,000% lying.
Cool.
And yeah, and he as he's chatting with Kenzo. Now listen, I know all of you. You know, we've had our transactions. Just make sure that you all live up to your ends of the bargains on things, because we'll know if you don't.
Okay, so here's an interesting thing. The one of the many quests that we're on is to try to help coordinate action. We may have discovered some useful information about this particular ruin. And so we needed to speak to an individual who had freedom to negotiate beyond just our own petty interests, but with the other powers who have encamped here. So can you point us in that direction?
Oh, you wanted to talk. Oh, you're talking to me. I'm him. I run this whole place.
Is he lying?
No, he's telling the truth.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
True. Yeah, did you not know? Did you not? You came to my shop.
We're just humble adventurers. We're just humble adventurers. We know very little about the world other than just delving in ruins.
Oh, you know, and he walks to the door of the stall and he looks out at one of the guards. He's like, "Hey, when's the last time somebody didn't know who I was?" And the guard's like, "I've never seen it happen." And you know, and then as he says that, you can tell that there's people, like porters are walking by and there's exchange and they're guffawing, and everyone is just like looking at all of you like you didn't know what Pura was. Look at it. Yeah. And he turns back around to you. Listen, I'm Pura. I lead this band of merchants. You know, people usually avoid my stall because they know that I drive the hardest bargains, but I do have the best stock. I mean, you know, how else do you think I knew about, you know, the stuff that we got in just today? Anyway, I'm going on. You know, yep. So you said you needed to talk to me?
Well, so we just recently came from the Churner's camp, and something strange is going on over there. Their leader...
I mean, there's something always strange going on with the Churners. I mean, you know, they're jumping up and down. They're jumping up, they're jumping down. You can't explain that.
Well, it's more like they're looking to become guilders and plant roots.
Oh, you noticed that too. Yeah, they're building buildings over there. I've never seen a churner build a building.
One of them may have burned down. But anyway, we have a limited amount of time to try to seek some sort of concord between the various factions here. We have it on good authority that there is, as is always the case with one of these ruins, more than meets the eye. You know that whole situation with one of the heads activating and turning blinding hot in the flash of light and all that good stuff?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, that was
I've had people trying to explore that head for, ever since then, and they just keep going in and saying, "No, it's too hot. I can't go in."
Oh,
I
it
would
probably
love to find
doesn't
out
matter
that.
which head it is. It's just a certain trick to being able to activate the stuff. Just, some really basic things that requires a very particular set of skills that we just so happen to have.
I see.
I mean, we practically did it by accident. Actually, it was more like we practically did it by being, charming and first-rate adventurers.
He kind of straightens up, and before, where he had been looking all around, like kind of dividing his attention between you and everything else that was going on around him, he's staring rapt at you. And he, without looking away from you, he kind of raises his hands and snaps his fingers, and people, you can't even see from where they come. They just, all of a sudden, it's like they just appeared. They're carrying a table and a chair, and they've got a pot of coffee or a pot of tea, and they're pouring cups, and they're setting cups out. Hey, sit down with me for a second. And he's already sitting down. Now you have, okay. Okay. Now I would love to hear more about what you all did inside that head. And listen, you've seen some of the wares that I have available. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I've got so much more awesome stuff that I could get my hands on. But I just would really, really love for you to tell me what you all did to wake that head up.
But if we tell you, that our leverage goes away.
Oh, of course.
Well, not really, because you wouldn't be able to replicate it.
Then why not just tell me? If you're so sure I can't do it.
Well, why would you give up a negotiation advantage if you don't have to?
I like you. You're here because you want to build some better relationships between the various factions that are all trying to... Okay. I'll tell it to you straight.
Well, what we really want to do is turn it all on and see what happens. But some of the wiser heads among us have decided that was, and by which I mean looking at Gia's obviously pained face, have decided that's maybe not the most conservative of approaches.
Oh, don't pay attention to fools. You and I both know this. We have to find out what's in there. Now, okay.
But well, number one, we can't have the churners just racing into the center. They're likely to trap some sort of something that will cause the whole thing to sink into the earth or fly away or whatever. And they don't seem to be particularly interested in exploring the way that we do. And of course, the bookers just want to write everything down and then hide the information from everyone. So we were hoping to find a more sympathetic ear here, but it's important that whatever agreement we might possibly arrive at has at least the veneer of appearing to drive cooperation and information sharing across the factions.
Okay. Kenzo boy, I like you. I'm going to lay it straight. I don't care what's in there. I want to know what it is, and I want to sell it. This whole thing in here, all this is just, we go to ruins, we dig up whatever's most valuable, and we leave before there's trouble. And I've got buyers lined up. We haven't seen a ruin this big come up in years. It's got to be something real big, real important. I want to know what it is, and I want to be the one to sell it. And might have a couple buyers lined up already. If you can help me and I help you, I think we could have a pretty good relationship.
But like a contractual relationship, right?
Oh, obviously.
Right.
I'll have my people drop some paperwork within the next hour. Pretty standard adventuring contract. And we'll give you obviously we'll get the biggest cut of the sales. You'll all get a cut. And either of the dust that we harvest or access to the whatever is down there at the center.
Well, we'll have to have access because we're the only ones that can activate it.
Yeah, exactly. You'll have to turn it over to us once you get it and activate it and acquire it and bring it all out. All we need you to do is bring it here. And listen, I have a lot of contacts. I have a lot of pull with with people. Whatever y'all need that you can't get just by talking or fighting, if you need to call in favors to get it, listen, I'm your guy.
Wonderful. Well, we should probably discuss it.
Oh, absolutely.
As a group.
I have some things I need to take care of anyway.
All right. And we apparently have an errand for you. All right. Well, we know where to find you.
Oh, he's gone. As soon as he said that, he walked up and just briskly walked away back to his stall.
Right. Cool. Well, do we want to work for the merchants now? No, why not?
Callie did not steal that hot plate. They knew that we were going around the other camps talking to people, and they stole it from us in order to be able to make a deal. They want this book in the
it's
library.
like some 4D chess stuff.
What?
If we can't deal with our problems by killing or talking, we should come to him, huh? Perhaps he already knows how to deal with problems.
So basically work for them, or at least pretend to.
Most adventurers only talk or kill things, but I mean, I just don't want to get locked in some sort of contract where we're selling something that's super dangerous to whoever else he's going to sell it to. Some things are meant to stay buried. That's like these ruins are dangerous. Everything that comes out of them is sometimes dangerous.
Well, here's the thing that we know that they don't. We have insight into the nature of the mechanism and the scale of the mechanism that they don't. They're thinking small, and we're thinking big.
They want us to take things out of the ruins in order for them to sell and then move on. There is another group here who wants to set up a permanent town. Those two, because they want to delve the ruins. Those two philosophies are opposed. There's probably room to thread a needle there somewhere, but those two groups are in conflict. We could definitely play one off against the other if we wanted to.
I don't know. Well, what do we want? I thought we just wanted to become rich. And uncover secrets. And become rich by uncovering secrets.
That one. This is sort of like a work study situation for me. So,
well, so that we definitely have to go and figure out the mechanism, or else you won't have learned.
Yeah.
And then if we can make money in the process, good. Also, I have a sneaking suspicion that things will get very interesting when we activate the device. Like fully activate it, not the little tiny activation that we did before.
So our next step should be to delve the ruins.
Maybe, but you have to take that book.
We started Sequoia again.
There is that. What book? The book that he handed you earlier?
I am not entirely sure that I want to deliver the book. If we're going to be betraying them, then I don't want to deliver it.
Well, the trick is not to betray anyone, isn't it? Just build a really complex web of innuendo and promises. And then, to your point, thread the needle. And then eventually just set the whole thing on fire. So nothing matters.
Well, I'm sure that's what will happen once we if we activated the device, which we won't because it's probably bad.
Oh,
need to
who
study.
says? Well, you can't study it if it's quiescent. You have to activate it.
No, you can. There are manuals for things. I hold up the pamphlet. Like, people write things down.
They do now.
People did then, too. That's why we can study these things.
Well, that's not how it works. You don't find instruction. I mean, I suppose it sometimes does. But I think in general, you just find strange things that do weird stuff. And then you turn them on and figure out what they do. Like that hot plate might have had a very different original purpose. It could be some other, completely other device. It just so happens to give off heat as a secondary aspect of its function.
If there is a manual, then it will be in the ruins.
Yes.
Or it might be lost completely and we'll never find it.
Yes. Well, so the question is, do we go delving here? Or do we go and try to wrap up the state of things with the other factions? Carry a message, as it were, from the Legio, offering cooperation.
I feel that we might get more leverage if we delve first and then come out with whatever results.
But that's the thing, we can't come out with what it holds, because what it holds is, not exactly pocketable.
Well, there may be something pocketable inside.
Oh, yeah, but not the thing.
No. If he doesn't know about it, then no worries.
I think when we activate it, it will fly away.
I think it will do the exact same thing as the other one, except in a larger area. So it'll be like a giant volcano. And then we will die.
It's possible.
There's only one way to find out.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So
We should take
Morvins wants to
Koya.
delve. Probably arranging a little bit of support and a little bit of a approved expedition with the Legio.
Here.
Yeah. I mean, they in theory would have begun clearing out some of the minor inconveniences.
Sure. We can ask to tag along with their next clearing project.
Yeah. Just to confirm that what we expect to see is present.
Leos, what do you want to do?
I is happy to delve. But if we's going to sepulchres, we should invite their leader, Koya, to accompany us.
Ooh, we could get all the leaders of the factions into one big delve. I don't think they'll go, though.
Yes.
I think that's what.
And then set off the volcano.
I mean, I have no idea why you would think that.
You could also just lift them up and go in without their consent.
Yeah, you definitely could kidnap all the leaders.
Not kidnap. Trick. Seduce. we have many more quivers in our arrows in our quiver than kidnapping. Okay.
So as you all are sitting around discussing your various options, it's maybe around mid-afternoon. You can see that the area around you has the activity has kind of damped down to a lull of a sort. There's still people going around trimming the vines and carrying boxes, but nowhere near as much or as fast as before. And as you're looking around, everybody. Okay, so it sounds like y'all are kind of either split on going delving or going to see one of the other leaders again. It sounded like somebody had said you wanted to go talk to see if the overgrowth is putting together any delving teams for the nearby ruins. So what are y'all gonna do next?
Well,
since we're here, we might as well check on the overgrowth first.
Yeah.
See if they're putting together a team.
And Chia has to get her death kudzu clipping.
Yeah.
It definitely isn't going to become neglected and strangle us all in our sleep.
I'm fairly responsible.
It's true.
Okay. It doesn't take much time at all to wave down one of the clipper guys, and it's catfolk, the lady catfolk who comes over to you as she sees that you're trying to flag someone down, and she comes over and she's like, oh, you have one of the okay, yep, hang on a second. She turns around, she grabs a spare set of clippers from her side. She goes over to the nearest wall of vines and clips off a branch and grabs a cup that had been sitting on a nearby crate that somebody had sit down, and she sniffs it and tastes it, spits it out and just pours it out, and then scoops up some dirt and puts the vine piece in it, and turns back around and hands it to Gia. Here, you can keep the mug. And she hands you the shears that she had pulled off of her belt, and here, you'll need these. You don't have to worry about watering it. Just make sure it gets sunlight, and clip off 90% of it and burn it every day.
Simple enough.
Yeah. If you make a powder. I mean, it's all in the pamphlet, but if you take a powder of the leaves and spread it around in a circle, it'll protect that area. So just be careful about what you do and don't want to. If it makes a full canopy, believe me, it's gonna be a nightmare to get back into wherever you sealed off. Just good luck, and I got to get back to it. And she doesn't say goodbye, just turns around and goes back to clipping.
Well, this should be fun.
It was an obvious error in judgment to even broach the subject. But that's fine.
Well, listen, it's important to discover new things and maybe leave an invasive species somewhere out in the world. We'll find out which happens.
It's true. Well, I wonder if it could be powered by the light from down below. Because sometimes that light is very similar to the light of the sun. Could be a good experiment.
It could be. This sounds like a trick to get me to agree that we should activate the stuff again.
It's not a trick, it's just a line of reasoning. All right, well, let's go find people who are managing the expeditions.
Mm-hmm. It takes a. How are you going around trying to find these people?
Asking.
Well, they'll be staging on the side of the ring that's closest to the.
Head in the right direction, then ask around.
Okay. Yeah, it's not hard to find what looks to be a team that's getting set up. You've got a mixed team of Legios that are they've got a wagon and they're all kind of gearing up. They've got they've got their armor on, they've got their swords and their weapons. You can see some of them are kind of testing out their various magical abilities. And they're not really paying attention to anyone. They're just kind of set on their preparations. And a couple of them are just kind of leaning against the wagon, looking at the back of the stone head that is not too far away.
Are any of them also bunny boys?
You can see that one of them is a rabbit folk.
Ah, the leader's family.
Maybe. They all are kind of related.
Yeah, they breed, they reproduce pretty quickly. So do you all approach them?
Yes.
Or are you just going to watch them from afar?
We'll approach, but as we approach. Remember when we were down in there before and we had to save all those rabbit folk? I do hope that they were able to make it back to their families.
Yes, I'm glad that most of them survived.
Yes.
I think at least one of them died, but if I remember right, you got most of them out.
Yeah.
As you get closer, you can see that Morven's the rabbit folk that you had identified. It does seem to be some kind of important figure for all of the rest of them. They are, occasionally one of them will make a comment in the rabbit's direction, and he doesn't say much, but he just he gives them a remark, and then they go back to what they were doing.
Now that we're closer and within hearing range, we repeat that conversation.
Oh yeah, that was the point.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, I misunderstood what you were saying. Okay, yeah. So as you're getting closer, they overhear what you were saying. And he looks over. I heard about you all. You get over here. Get over here. Come. I owe you a drink. And he's pointing to each of you in turn. Listen. Oh, listen, everybody. Okay, these guys. This is who we need. I told. Okay, go get Donathan back. We don't need those other mercs. We got these guys. Listen, you all are coming with us. We need you.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, look, okay. This big guy, he's pointing at a Throg who is wearing so much armor that it's not a very old one. He's only 5 feet tall, but he's covered in plate armor. And every now and then he's just kind of taking a drink, lifting his helmet flap and taking a drink out of it, and then saying ha. And then just kind of he enjoys the beverage that much. You see this guy? He didn't want. He said we need more people, and he was going to go hire some more adventurers. But listen, I heard about you all. You saved my cousins, my aunt, and my nephew. Same person. Don't know how. We saved. You saved 4 members of my family from some kind of big Bernie exploding building thing. And you clearly know what you're doing, and I need you to come with me.
Wow.
I'll pay you.
Oh, good. Well, I do know. I have to presume that you have some sort of agreement for a substantial share of the profit of anything that you bring back.
Oh, you've been talking to my dad. you've got a contract, huh?
Well, I was just saying, I assume that the generosity of that agreement extends to everyone who risks their lives going into the ruins.
Listen, we've got very, very clearly defined rules for bounties for anything that we pull out of here. So, yeah, you know, it sounds like you'll get a cut, but we all signed up knowing we get our percent of whatever we pull out.
Oh, but you get more, right?
Oh, it's a chunk of what everything that gets pulled out. So it's not just, like we send in, we're not the only team going in.
Oh, no, I'm not criticizing. I'm just assuming that given your position and connections that you probably have a much more favorable deal.
Oh, I mean, I do, obviously. I mean, I get a full 5% of the whole package. It's, perks of my father, but like,
and making this like super obvious face. Oh, yes, that is incredibly generous. 5%, 5 whole percent.
I mean, it takes listen, we got to pay. We have a lot of expenses. I mean, the ale, we got to get the ale. We got to bring that in. We got to, we got to pay all of the Walzu farmers.
And you pay that out of your share.
Well, no, I mean, that's, it's not out of my share because I already have my share set aside.
Oh, I see. Yes.
The camp has operating expenses.
Well, and also the difficulty and expense of securing buyers.
Yes. I mean, I'm not completely, he kind of leans in conspiratorially, like, I don't really know where all the money goes. I just know, listen, like, Dad doesn't let me anywhere near the books. I've asked him so many times, let me see the books, and he just says, no, you can't see the books, you won't understand the books, you can barely read, you won't know what these numbers are. And
well, you seem very clever
he's
to
right,
me.
but I don't want him to know that.
You seem perfectly clever to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a sweetheart deal, of course I'm clever. Now, I mean, I don't know. Like, he says we need all that money for expenses, and it makes sense to me. You got to pay people. You have expenses. So, like, listen, I think it's all fine. I just have to, he said to me, you just got to go into the dungeon. You got to go pull out something we can sell, and find some clues to whatever's in that big building in the center, and he's rambling on. He's describing like the conversation, and he's going into so many extraneous, unnecessary details about like what they were eating and the specific terms of a conversation that they had. And he was just saying to me like, hey, like he just what are you doing during this conversation? Like, how are you? He's just kind of rambling. He's talking. You can kind of get the sense that like he's looking around, and like he really get the sense that he really wants to vent about something. But like he's kind of holding himself back.
I'm literally doing the interview technique of and how did that feel, and and prodding for. I'm trying to find ways of hitting that. That sounds like a lot of effort, a lot of work, or that sounds very expensive, just to hit that 5% over and over.
Yeah. Give me a charm.
3d6. Yep, 622.
Okay. So this goes on for a little bit. I'm curious about what everybody else is doing while this is going on. But Kenzo, as you're talking to this rabbit folk, it takes a while. You slowly draw it out of him, and eventually he just kind of. He first mentions like, oh, there's this job that my dad really wants us to do, and. But it's hard. I don't know how to do it, and I don't know. I don't even know if it's a good idea. And it's a little bit later. He's like, it's something violent, and I don't really like violence. But like he really wants me to do it, and it's gonna be hard. And eventually, like the most recent thing that he tells you is like, I mean, it's the Stonebreakers will spot me from like a mile off. They'll know why I'm there. I'm sure of it. I'm terrified. Like I'll walk up, they'll be like, "Oh, you wanna kill somebody?" Like, yeah, it's just like they'll see it on my face. They'll see the murderous intent on my face. Like they'll know. Like I can't do that. I don't know why. Oh, but
Their
he
leader
said,
is
he just
very
said
perceptive.
yeah. It's just I've tried. You know, the last time I went over to talk to them, they took one look at me and said, "No, get out of here." They tied me up and they put me on one of those pads and they launched me halfway back to camp.
Well, I can tell you from our interactions with their leadership that they are very perceptive and selective about who they allow into their inner circle. I mean, just the other day we were having a lovely conversation. Leos is quite close to their leader. Maybe not as close as they want to be, but that's a whole different story. Anyway, so we're having a perfectly pleasant conversation, and they were very, very clear about their suspicions of other people. So it's a very difficult task. I hope you're being paid well.
Oh, definitely. Listen,
Well, maybe with our connections we can help you. And also, I must commend you. Sometimes our superiors provide an objective with very straightforward instructions. Like they busy people often don't have time to think things through, examine it from all angles. And so it's completely understandable that your father would take the most expedient route and suggest violence. But in our experience, you can often achieve your goals with a bit more subtlety, and then also avoid being killed and having to stab people, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, because usually if you try to stab people, they try to stab you back.
I know.
I don't like that.
It's like a never-ending cycle, and once it starts, you never know when it's going to stop. So perhaps with our connections and insights, we'd be able to help you find another way of achieving your objective that doesn't end in you probably being stabbed to death. Yeah.
I mean, okay, come, you, Leos, that's your name, right? He said that you had some kind of connection to their leader.
I do.
They made a real impression.
Okay. Listen. So we've been at work. We have a list. We have a list of the top lieutenants of the breakers. I've been throwing lots of money around to keep people quiet, to get a list of names. Have a target. My dad wants me to get this target out of the way. And he said just kill them. But I mean, I would love to not have to kill them if we could just get them to go away forever. Just like, I don't know, walk into the ocean or something, fall into a ravine forever. I don't know, just like go away. That would be perfect too. I don't want to like look at this. Like he holds up his nails. Like they're bones. They're bones now. I've been just biting my nails all the time just thinking about this. So listen, we have a plan. After we go into the dungeon, Liz, I probably shouldn't have been telling you this, but we're gonna go into the dungeon, and then we're gonna go over to the Stonebreakers, and we're gonna find the target, and we're gonna get them out of the picture. So like, you know, it's you know, it's not the least dangerous, but it's not the most dangerous thing. Just like a little bit of sneaking, a little bit of subterfuge. You know, everybody just sees a party going into the ruins. They don't see us come out in the middle of the night. Like, we've already got it all set up. Like, they're going to get rid of all the lights so that we can sneak out without anybody seeing that we left the ruins, and we're going to go over to the camp, and it's going to be perfect. It's going to be great.
Who is the target?
It is... I'm forgetting my he it's apparently it's their medical officer, Quinn. So what we found out, this person, old friend of the leader's, we want to get the leader out. Leader is badass. We can't fight the leader. She's ancient. She's tall. She's huge. Biggest Throg I've ever seen. And but we don't get her, but we demoralize her. So we figured out Quinn, the doctor, it's her old friend, best friend, childhood friend. They've known each other forever. So if we get rid of the friend, then she leaves. See, this is my genius plan. This is my genius plan. And I know that you can help me because you helped people like me.
Yes, but there's so much more context that you're not aware of. So, what if I were to tell you that not everyone in the Breakers was keen for the current direction? What if I were to tell you that by eliminating the medical officer, you're potentially eliminating the best actual leverage you might have? A dissenting voice, a trusted voice from friendship who might provide guidance in an alternate direction. Remove that, and their leaders' baser instincts will be the only thing guiding the group. In fact,
He's hanging on
very
your every
likely
word.
that without that voice of reason, she would simply decide to stay forever.
Oh, that would be really bad.
I know.
I have to go. I gotta go talk to my dad. I gotta go right now.
So here's the thing I know about leaders, good leaders like your father, is that bringing them a problem is not what they like. They like initiative. They like it when people bring them a solution.
Got it.
Instead of,
he always
this
says,
plan won't work and tell me what to do now. It's more like, I've taken an initiative to achieve the overarching goal. I displayed my intelligence and my discretion.
okay, so what? So instead of killing her, what do we have to do?
Well, might get a lay of the land. Might see if there are interests that align. It's always better to make friends than enemies, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, usually. Sometimes
The
your
sense
friends
I
are your
have, and I
enemies.
don't want to speak for anyone. The sense I have is that the doctor is, well, much like you, very, very smart, and not the old way of thinking that everything has to be a conflict and everything has to be, all or nothing, a zero-sum game. I think they're quite progressive, and my sense of them is that they feel that there's maybe a need for a changing of the guard. With more enlightened leadership, everyone can profit. And as the next generation of leader yourself, it makes perfect sense that you might come to some accord.
Yeah, the next generation, and I'll be the leader. I mean, because he'll die eventually, and then I'll be leader.
All you're doing is seeing after his
other
legacy.
60 brothers.
That's true. But as the person who's securing the legacy and setting the direction of the clan in a more future-focused way, you'd become the natural choice. If anything, you're living into his example.
He is getting completely strung along by what you're saying. And he's just kind of absorbed in all of this, pretty talk, pretty words that you're spinning for him. I'm curious what everybody else is up to while this is going on.
Leos,
Okay.
Hi.
I was wondering if they recognized Atlas, the leader recognized Atlas. Perhaps other people have heard of its legend here. That Donovan person looks like a fighter. I was wondering if they might know something.
I just can ask.
If you want to. I mean, it's your weapon. I'm not going to pry if you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So the two of us approach Donovan. If she wants to come along, she's more than welcome.
Okay. So Donathan is he is sitting by the fire now. He is still, he's got a pony keg of ale next to him, and just every now and then he is, he's got a small cup. He'll drink it all down in one gulp, get himself another cup, and then sit it by the fire to warm up, and then repeat every 5 or 10 minutes. And as you walk over, you can see that he's got, he's just refilling his cup and putting it down by the fire. And he looks over at you all. Hello.
Oh, hello, Donovan, wasn't it? My name's Morvan. This is Lee. We were the new people hired on to help after. Well, you said you need more hands, right?
Yeah, we always need more hands. It's we went down in once already, and there was some kind of like slime that was going around that was like eating all of our weapons and turning them into like rusty piles of scrap, and like it was just real gross. And then they crawled into the mouth of like one of our like the mercenaries that we hired. It was not pretty. We need replacements. I mean, we're gonna go in a couple more times at least before we can, fight our way to the bottom. So we need more people. We always need more people.
Yeah, and it's so expensive replacing weapons. You go into the shop and it's like 20 dust here and 30 dust there, and
yeah, it's like, you either pay a little bit of dust for like a cheap weapon, and then it just like, you get it wet once and it's useless, or you spend half a year's pay on a weapon and then a monster eats it. I don't know. I don't get it.
yeah, I mean, you really want a good weapon. Like going for a cheap one, it's just no good. You'll just be used up immediately.
Yeah.
My friend Lee here bought this weapon, Atlas. Pretty good, right? I mean, it's a bit broken, but it looks pretty good, nice.
But Atlas, is that the Atlas? Can I see it?
No, me friend. He's just a replica.
Listen, my pappy rabbit used to tell me so many stories. He said, this one weapon, Atlas, he served with the Throg who wielded it. He said that one time he saw that spear light up like with flame, with a pillar of flame so high it almost it felt like sunlight in the middle of the night. Just the feats of strength. Like I heard that weapon took down a whole dragon once. I would love to see it one day. Just like when I was a kid, I would draw little pictures of it and the carve little drawings of the Throg who wielded it and that weapon, just an Atlas, on their adventures. I made up my own little stories about it. I would love to just see the real thing. Oh, but at least I haven't even seen a replica. Let me, if I can just see a replica, then I can see what the real thing looked like. Can I hold it?
This is very fragile, only for show.
Wow. I see. It probably doesn't even have an edge anymore. If it's just a replica for show, then it's probably just, it's probably not even metal. That's probably just, painted wood.
So,
Leos, are you, how hard are you trying to lie?
Very hard.
Okay. Give me a probably a charm, but if you can make a case for another skill.
It's probably charming. That's a 2.
Okay. No. That can't be a replica. Like, I can see there's the little details. Like, I can see where somebody tried to use it as a frying pan, but it didn't even touch the metal. It just kind of put some scorch marks on it. Like, that has to be a real thing. Like, did you buy that thinking it was a replica? I'm sure that's the real thing. Oh, you gotta let me hold it.
You see me grandpappy and his dad and his father gave it down to me. So I just don't want anyone to touch.
Okay. Well, I know how you can get with your weapons sometimes. But hey, if you're ever feeling like you want to, like, I'm pretty sure that thing's real, and let me know. There's supposed to be like a way that you twist it, and you squeeze it, and it's supposed to light up with fire. Like, the stories that I've heard, it was wonderful. Like, did you see that big explosion in the south? Like, I imagine that's what it would look like. Just a big beam of light that goes up to the sky, but it's, from one mystic warrior with their staff. Like, what a sight to see.
Yes. That beam of light that everybody talks about, I sadly missed it. Was napping during that time.
I heard some real stuff happened. Like, our leader over there, his some of his relatives, they were over near where that all happened. They said there was something about they were saved from a bunch of centipedes by somebody. Yeah. Anyway, so y'all are here. Are you here to help us?
Oh yeah, we're coming on a little trip with you, or at least I think so. Kenzo and what's his name are sorting out the details. Maybe.
Okay.
But who knows? I hope we grow with you.
Okay. Is there anything else that you all wanted to ask him about the weapon, or is there just gonna because we could let this trail off with him just making side talk with y'all or small talk for a bit.
Yeah, I think we ask him about what he bought when he replaced his weapons and so on and so forth. As
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
we let things trail off.
Okay. Yeah. He just kind of trails off, and just never really says anything really momentous. He's just talking and giving you gossip about the camp and stuff like that. Chia, how about you?
I think Chia kind of started looking around at their equipment and stuff for adventuring when the first guy was talking, and probably was not paying attention until maybe she heard him say murderous intent, and then probably wandered over to listen to Kenzo talk.
Okay. So while Morvins and Leos are, trying to dissuade this fanboy from grabbing at Leos's weapon, Kenzo and Chia are having kind of a conversation about the finer points of subterfuge with a moron.
Future leader.
Absolute brain genius. So what happens next?
Well, it sounds like, and tell me if you disagree, Chia, it sounds like what we should do is follow the plan to an extent. Do a little delve. Take advantage of the arrangement to, with the lights being out or whatever, to sneak off. But instead of attacking, we leverage our deep connections with the Stonebreakers to call a parley with the doctor. Introduce the doctor and our up-and-coming leader here. And help them come to an agreement. To everyone's benefit. Now, how long is it that you're expected to be away?
So the plan is, we go into the head as we get towards the afternoon, late afternoon. So maybe in another hour or two, we head in. We're going to spend some time in there, do what we can. But you know, the first time that we meet any real resistance or trouble, we're going to retreat. The other guards have been keeping people away, so we should be the only ones in there. We're going to stay in there until night falls, at which time we will leave and make our way across the center of the ruin courtyard, straight towards the Stonebreaker camp. We've been making sure that no one crosses the center except for our own patrols. But we think that we have a way to get across safely, and we don't think anybody will be watching that way.
Well then, easy. And so there's not a particular time when you're expected back. So no one would realize anything amiss if we took a little bit of extra time to have more strategic conversation as opposed to just going in and stabbing.
No, we're supposed to not report back until the mission is done, however long that takes.
Well done. Awesome. Well, that sounds very fortuitous, don't you think, Chia?
Yes, we have plenty of time to resolve the problem.
Yes, and plenty of time to examine and sketch the interior of the installation.
Absolutely true.
Well, this seems like fortune is smiling upon us.
Yes. He raises his glass, a toast to a very profitable partnership.
Also, what does our contract give us? I assume it's more than 5%.
So we've got however many we've got here, split it evenly.
Oh no, I meant the contract that his father was offering. I don't think we've executed it yet, but we should, in the meantime, find out what that contract suggests, because my guess is it's more than 5%.
Yeah, I think he was. So if you look at the contract, it is. So it's not for a specific amount of money. It is for an equal. No, is for, let's say, 30% cut of the sale profits of whatever the artifact in the central vault is.
Yeah. Which just means that we can hire all of these people, cut them in on our cut, and they make more money. Okay, that's just what I wanted to confirm. Cool.
Yeah, however much, assuming that his plan works, basically unfathomable amounts of riches, and you're going to get a chunk of that.
Yeah. Significantly more than this dude.
Yeah.
Cool. So I think we'll reveal that contractual detail at some point to him, but not yet.
Not yet.
More seeds to plant. Well, so it sounds like a plan. I don't think we have any preparation that we need to do in advance of going in, unless someone has a different thought. Were you able to find out? Were you able to find out more about the weapon?
Wee laddie over there spoke of a tale of Atlas fighting off a dragon.
Ooh.
Just twist this part.
Oh, don't actually do it.
No. I won't.
I mean, not yet.
I shall restrain myself. Yes.
Not yet. Not until it's required. Well, good. So you learned something. Excellent. You're gonna need to snip your kudzu there, Chia.
Ooh, yeah.
It's about 3 feet tall, growing out the top of the cup.
Yeah. It'll
Just
be
leave
fine.
clippings in passageways so we pass through, so it's one way.
Yeah.
Just forget to burn them.
Just leave it on the ground. It's fine. There's a fire nearby.
Maybe.
We've cut down 90% of this.
Maybe if we want to go, and this is just to Morvins, maybe if we want to go deliver that book, we could include an extra special, like, bookmark, like a little leaf or something.
I'm actually thinking that the book might be a bomb. There's got no reason to plant a book in the library unless they want it to do something.
Or
Either be read
a snooping device. That would seem to be like what's the profit in destroying information if you can't leverage it? One would think that the real profit would be in finding a way to uncover someone else's secrets, turn them to your own devices.
Right. I am really, really bad at tinkering.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Chia, are you good at fiddling with things?
No. Unless I use magic, maybe, but probably not fiddling with devices.
Well, one thing that we could do, so Twy/Morvins, it sounds like you want to investigate the book. So one thing we could...
I would like, I think, to wait until we're in the ruins to investigate. If we're going to be planning to wait till nightfall, then being away from the middle of the camp would be a good idea.
Yeah. So what I think would help is that it could be I think mechanically this would be good as an ambition, a group ambition is, figure out the mystery of this book that you have been asked to plant. So basically that means that it is a clock that you have to advance to completely fill it out. It's up to you how you want to approach, investigating it. So if you want to try tinkering with it, then, if you have a skill that's appropriate to that, or if you want to try and apply like arcane studies to it, or you want to recall like what's the design of the cover or something and remember like, oh, it's similar to this other thing. It's up to you how you want to try and tackle that group ambition. But I think that's probably how we'll handle that.
So what size would that clock be?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Ambitions can come in several different clocks.
Yes. 1 second. Just looking up the details for this. Campaign.
Oh, I mean like 4, 6, or 10 segments.
Oh yeah, so this will be a this will probably be a 6 clock.
Okay.
It is like as you're looking at it, it is, not the you can tell that there is something now that that there is a greater mystery to it. You get a feeling looking at it that it's not like impossible to figure out, but it's not going to be trivial either. Anyone can work on an ambition, on a group ambition. Otherwise, if it's just like a personal one, then that's just, your own personal project. But yeah.
Speaking of setting up ambitions, could I set up the ambition for translating the letter? Because I had done a few rolls on it and wasn't making progress, and it feels like something I do in the downtime.
Absolutely.
As an ambition.
I'm going to say that is... I have been keeping track of that. You've got one... I set that up as a 4 clock for you,
Okay.
and you've got
Perfect.
1 success in it.
Okay, I'll just also keep track then. Perfect.
Okay, so you've got 1 group ambition that is a 6 clock that is analyzing the book. Chia, you've got your 4 clock personal ambition of analyzing the book. You've got 1 slice of that filled in. Does anyone else have something that they wanted to introduce as like a personal or group a group task there or project that you're working on? Leos, I had an idea that perhaps you could have a like investigate Atlas one, but that's, you know, I don't want to like, you know, like say like, oh, you have to do that, but that was just something I was thinking might be appropriate.
Yeah. Do that.
And let's say that's also a 4 o'clock. Okay.
How many segments in a turn all the factions against each other create a civil war and we're the only ones left standing to plunder this place in peace?
Ooh,
4.
That's gonna be. Well, let me tell you. So for those of you who don't, so for those of you watching who are, basically the idea is that, you know, if you want to keep track of world events and group and faction goals and personal goals, you can fill up various clocks. Set out a clock for tracking the progress of a project or something. Every one of the factions has their own clocks that they have it advancing to interfere with the others. Given everything you know about the things that you've been asked to do, and knowing that things are progressing even that you might not know about, you all could fairly reasonably conclude that things are quickly coming to a head. Everyone is making moves against everyone else, and even if you didn't intervene, probably within a couple days, things are going to start popping off. Is your guess? You have the opportunity here to sway the course of events towards an outcome that you would like to see happen, or you could just watch it all kind of, burn down. It's up to y'all. But yeah, I'd probably within the next couple days, things are gonna start getting exciting.
Well, we'll make it even more interesting by forging an alliance between the 2 good factions.
Mm.
And then that will create leverage, Gia.
And that's the Bookers, right? The Bookers are one of the 2 good factions, right?
The 2 cooperative factions, and that will create leverage, which will mean that the Bookers, who are very smart, will be forced to come to the table. See, it's all about bringing peace and joy wherever we go. And if we fail, oh well.
Not fire.
Yeah, and then there's
if we fail, I can always pick up the leader of the Bookers and carry them over.
It's true.
Yep, you can always kidnap them.
We can always just like not stop you next time you try to burn their library down.
Yeah, like really, you might have, for all you know, if you hadn't stopped Leos, they might not have had to ask you to plant something in the library.
I know.
You did your work for them, but now you have a chance to ask them to pay you for it.
I know. We got a 30% share of limitless wealth for basically delaying the incipient disaster. That's fine. Yeah. Cool. Well, I don't think we need anything else for delving.
No. I'll leave it up to you all We could, so this is kind of a natural stopping point. We could stop here, or we could go through. We probably would not get through. Like, I've been kind of framing this as like this is the interlude before your next expedition. Definitely you're not going to get through the next expedition within the next like hour. Don't really want to stop the expedition like halfway through. So I'm thinking it's a little bit early, but I think we're about right on time, and it's a good stopping place. So
the only thing I would add is that in conversation with our expedition leader, I will allude to the fact that we may need someone who has great skills in tinkering and figuring out arcane things, and that if those skills don't exist on the current rota, we should find someone to come with us, given that we know so much more about what to expect down there. Also, someone that we can trick into helping us figure out the book.
Okay.
Hey, look what I just found in the corner. Here, figure it out. We're gonna go be in the other room just in case.
Yep. So as you all are having this, you're chit-chatting with this group. You're waiting for evening to start falling so that you can go into the dungeon and get on your nefarious tasks. So the camera kind of pans back from all of y'all. We had been kind of in like a multicam, kind of flashing from conversation to conversation, and now we're getting a picture of the bustling activity of the entire overgrowth camp. Nobody ever sleeps here. There's always something going on, even in the dead of night. And so as we kind of zoom in past the camp over towards the glow, and I think where we leave off is a small bird is sitting on top of the stone head. This particular head is a wolfkin head. It is, has its mouth open in a vicious snarl. The ears are back. It's just an incredibly like angry, growling stone wolfkin head, and the bird is perched on one of the lower canines and looking around and doing some squeaks, and then there's a little bit of a glow and some heat waves rising from the tip of the tooth, and the bird, startled, flies away and then fade to black. Thank you all for playing. This has been season 2, episode 1 of Burial Grounds.
Yeah, let's do that thing. Let's start with you, Jeff.
Yeah, everybody, I'm Chev. When I'm not here on C+ Content, I have my own channel where I play Mahjong, which is a card game, kind of a, I've heard it is similar to Gin Rummy. And playing some card games and some cat cams, listening to music, and so that's usually me on Tuesdays and Saturdays. If that sounds like any of your jam, then I would love to have you come by and hang out, and we can talk about some nerdy card games. And aside from that, I occasionally show up here in various C+ games, either the Call of Cthulhu ones or some of the other ones that I have been a part of, a bunch now at this point. And then this one, which will be another couple sessions, or also community members chats you can find me in. I'm rambling now. Let's go the opposite way. Misha, tell us about yourself.
All right, I'm Misha_less_3 on Twitch. I don't really stream, but you do find me on the Justice TV program doing mod things. And also here, I was just adding in some of the possible game day schedules for March, so we can start scheduling March games. I'm going to be looking at a couple of them there, but hopefully you can get some more of those one-shots in if you go to the Discord, now that I'm not so terribly busy with other gaming conventions. All right, go ahead, Sin.
Like, I just had a reality boost when you said March, because March is in 2 weeks, which is terrifying.
You gotta look ahead. The scheduling thing is one of those, you gotta keep it rolling. Otherwise, we'll never have RPGs.
Well, yeah, but also the first week of March holds the day I was born, so that's terrifying. Uh, but hi, I'm Sin or Sinful __ potato on Twitch and other social media sites, mostly active on Discord. And the C plus content has a Discord which just popped up, so you should definitely join that. I play lots of games here. I have written down a few games to run in the spreadsheet of the C plus next channel. Yeah, it's the second channel. When you first join, you join in the general chat, and then there's C plus next. So you should definitely look at that and sign up for games because that's super fun and super cool. Aside from that, I do stream on Twitch. I will try to get a better schedule to stream more frequently in the coming weeks. And aside from that, you can also find me in other people's chats or playing games with other people and other DMs like Twy.
Hello, I am Twi'lek, and I have been playing Morvens. In a very large coincidence, I have the sun urge to mention that I am available for all of March, possibly whatever. And thank you for your time, and I've enjoyed playing with you all. Zero.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So as everyone mentioned, head on over to community.cpluscontent.tv, which is our Discord. Check out the stuff we've got going on there. As Misha mentioned, we have, Misha and Sen mentioned, we have like a schedule for games like this that are usually like 3 episodes. They might continue beyond that, kind of longer, planned out. And then we have a few games that are kind of like, hey, let's pull together 4 people and play one of a few games, one of which is our very own Survive, powered by the Apocalypse game, which is about like 80s, 90s horror movies. We had our first inaugural play test last weekend or whenever it was. That went well. We've already made some adjustments to the rules and simplified the relationship part in particular. But we can pick that up at any time. And we've got a Call of Cthulhu game that is ready to go. Again, kind of more episodic, more people come in, come out. So lots of irons in the fire. We should say, however, thank you everyone for playing. Thank you, Chev, once again for running. Thanks, folks in chat, for showing up. And we should say goodbye to our friends on YouTube, and then we'll come back and chat some more and raid out. So goodbye, friends on YouTube. I think they're gone.